Somewhere beyond the woods, there stood a city called Vardhamana, a place of wealth, peace, and good fortune. In that city lived a merchant named Dantila. He was not only rich, but wise, generous, and trusted by the king himself. Under his care, the city prospered. The king was pleased, the people were content, and Dantila's name was spoken with admiration everywhere. But they say, the man who pleases the king may displease the people, and the one who serves the people may anger the king. It is never easy to balance both. One day the king announced a grand festival at his palace. The nobles, scholars, and merchants were all invited. Dantila arrived in splendor, dressed in fine silk and gold ornaments. Everyone greeted him with warmth and respect. Everyone except one man, the royal doorkeeper, Garamba. Feeling insulted, Dantila frowned and said sharply, "Do you not know who I am? Step aside when honored men walk by." And in front of everyone, he ordered Garamba to be thrown out of the ceremony. Garamba said nothing, but humiliation when buried grows roots in silence. Days passed. The anger in Garamba's heart did not fade. It festered. One morning, as the king rested half asleep, Garamba muttered to himself while sweeping the floor, "Strange that Dantila dared to embrace the queen." The king's eyes flew open. "What did you say, Garamba?" Startled, Garamba replied, "Forgive me, my lord. I was awake all night gambling. I must have spoken nonsense in my sleep." But the damage was done. Doubt had entered the king's mind. Garamba roams the palace freely, and so does Dantila, the king thought. Could there be truth in what he said? From that day on, the king withdrew his trust from Dantila, and soon forbade him from entering the palace. Dantila was shocked and heartbroken. He could not understand what wrong he had done. But when he saw Garamba smirking at the gates one morning, he understood everything. That evening, Dantila invited Garamba to his home. He welcomed him kindly, offered rich garments, and said humbly, "My friend, forgive me for that day. I spoke in pride and hurt your dignity. Accept these as a token of my apology." Garamba, pleased with the gifts and flattered by the respect, smiled and said, "Sir, your words have touched me. I will win back the king's favor for you. Just watch." The next morning, as the king lay half awake again, Garamba murmured lazily, "Ah, the king, eating cucumbers in the lavatory." The king sprang up in anger. "What nonsense! Have you ever seen me do such a thing?" Garamba quickly bowed. "Forgive me, my lord. I haven't slept all night. I speak foolishly when I'm tired." The king paused and thought, "Never in my life have I eaten in the lavatory." If Garamba spoke foolishly now, then what he said about Dantila must also have been foolish. Realizing his mistake, the king sent for Dantila at once, welcomed him with honor, and restored him to his old position. And so, the wise say, a man who lets pride guide his words may one day bow to his own echo. For in the end, when pride burns bright, it casts a long shadow over wisdom. This was Ananta Tales, where every story is a mirror, and every mirror tells a story. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Ananta Tales, and let timeless wisdom find you again in the next one.